This is going to go over using ShrinkWrap on the vertex level. Here, it's going to be used to mold this part and this part of the helmet so it fits onto this spacesuit. There'll be another spacesuit coming. Right now, this is the placeholder one. ShrinkWrap can also be used for scarves, other accessories, skirts, anything that you want to wrap around a character. On the vertex level, it's used to just pin portions of that onto another object. This way, the whole object isn't confined. If ShrinkWrap was applied to this whole helmet and onto this character, then this whole helmet would distort onto the character, and that's not what you're looking for. Sometimes you're modeling hard surfaces, sometimes you're modeling something free-flowing like a scarf, and you want the ends of the scarf to be free from the object that it wraps around. That's where ShrinkWrap on the vertex level comes in. To start, select the helmet or whatever object you want to ShrinkWrap on the vertex level. Go to the edit mode, press the 1 key or select vertex from here. Click on a vertice and then alt click on the one next to it to select the whole ring. Now that that vertex loop is selected, or as many vertices that you want to stick on to the next object, go to the data properties right there, object data properties, and click on it. Create a new group, and I'm going to double click this name and call it helmet or helmet group. With these vertices selected, before I assign them to this group, you could play with the weight. 1 means 100% of the weight will be applied when the next effect is used. At a lower number, you'll have a fall off. And that's all you had to do. You hit assign. Great. The next step is to go to object level. Now that this is in object mode, go to Modify Properties, click on the Add Modifier. Currently I have a modifier of a subdivision surface. Going to click on that and add the modifier ShrinkWrap. ShrinkWrap takes 2 main parameters. 1, what object to ShrinkWrap to, and any vertex group to use. That's what we're looking for. I'm going to click on this icon and select the only vertex group that was created, which is the helmet group. And now I'm going to select with the eyedropper, clicking on the eyedropper and clicking anywhere on this object that I want ShrinkWrap to be applied to. And there it is. I'm going to rotate around the viewport. Next, I'm going to move the object to show the attachment. You can reposition the object as needed, sliding it around. After I apply ShrinkWrap, I can then go back and move the vertices as needed to adjust the way it looks. I could do that on the vertex level or by using the sculpt brush tools. If I like this position, I want to commit to building forward. I'm going to apply both first the subdivision surface modifier for the helmet and then the ShrinkWrap modifier for the helmet. Once you do that, there's no going back, so make sure you saved your file first. Next, I want this rim to snap to the spacesuit. We'll develop this spacesuit a little later on. This is just showing a quick technique. Whether it's this hard surface that you want to mold around an object, or it's a scarf where you want to leave the ends flowing and have part that is pinned down to your character, or a cape or a skirt, using ShrinkWrap on the vertex level will give you this ability to glue vertices down onto the object without doing it manually, which we'll use as a cleanup method when we're using snaps to a face. With the helmet selected, going to edit mode, which is right up here, or pressing the tab key, making sure that it's in vertex, which is pressing the 1 key. I'll select this first vertex. If I now alt click on this third one, There's the vertex loop going all the way around. Next, going under the Data tab, Object Data Properties, right here. Clicking plus, and when you click plus, it creates a new group. Double-click that name. So you can rename it. I'm going to call this Helmet Group. With these vertices selected and the weight at 100%, making sure I drag this all the way up to 1, I'll click on Assign. And so these vertices with the weight at 100% are assigned to this group. Going back to object mode, just press the Tab key. With the object selected, select the Modifiers Properties tab. I already have a subdivision surface applied. Clicking on Add Modifier, and go to ShrinkWrap. ShrinkWrap could work on the object level, but if it was applied to this whole helmet, it will just squish across this character. ShrinkWrap might be good if you made a shirt separately and you wanted to wrap around the object. Here, I just want some vertices to stick to the object, and then I'll use the Sculpt Surface tool or manually move the vertices to smooth it out. Under the Vertex group for the ShrinkWrap modifier, click on the icon and select which group. Only made one group for this project, so it's going to be this group to be used to apply the ShrinkWrap to. Click the eyedropper and select the character. And once I do that, all the vertices are now clinging to the character. You can still move this object to reposition the way those vertices fall onto the character. And then I'll go back, and on the vertex level, I might just pull them down. This is a great shortcut, and when applied to the object level, it does a great job of wrapping one mesh around another mesh. I'm then going to go back to the vertex level, which is the Tab key for edit mode and the 1 key for vertex. Turn on snapping, and going under the snapping properties, and make sure face is selected. I'll select this vertex and press the G key to grab it and just move it across the surface. And this is the part where the connection's being refined. The ShrinkWrap did a great job for getting us mostly there. Now it's time to be an artist and refine the selection. And I'll explore this area. There might be, I'm looking at this side, and there might not be enough geometric points to make a smooth transition. So I could go back and using the sculpt tools to smooth all this out a little later. I'm going to go back to object mode and let me turn off snapping. Let me just move it over a little bit. And you can see that the snapping that I did on the vertex level is still sticking. If I go way down here, interesting, but the person needs their space helmet, it's showing the ShrinkWrap is still sticking. And now I'm going to just tweak it a little more. And soon you'll get a well-fitting space helmet, which is very good for a space helmet because you don't want air to leak out. Later, going back with a harder brush in sculpting to make this helmet look a little more rigid. And then continue with correcting of the snapping of these vertices, Tab key. Selecting the vertex, lifting it up, and the lifting up seems to be working with this structure. I think that's a good start, and we'll continue using the sculpt brush to refine this.